The tape began with a flickering image that defied every known physical law. I found the plastic casing hidden behind the insulation in my basement rafters. There was no label, only a series of strange carved tally marks here. My VCR groaned as it swallowed the tape, sounding like a dying animal. The television screen erupted into a chaotic storm of black and white static. Through the blizzard of noise, a distorted title card began to slowly emerge. The music was a warped, slowed-down version of a familiar local news jingle. Suddenly, the host appeared, sitting behind a desk made of cheap, rotting plywood. He didn't move for 10 seconds, just stared directly into the camera lens. "Welcome to tonight's program," he whispered with a voice that sounded like gravel. "Tonight we have a very special guest who has traveled from very far." The guest sat perfectly still, a silhouette that seemed to absorb the light.
Hello.
"Our guest does not speak our language," the host explained with a grin. "He communicates through the windows of the soul," he said, pointing at eyes. Then, the guest began to blink in a rapid, jarring, and unnatural cadence. Dot. Dash. Dot. The pattern was deliberate, a code buried in the darkness. I realized he was using Morse code, a signal sent from the void. T-H-E-Y. The first word formed in my mind like a cold, sharp needle. A-R-E. The second word caused the tracking on the tape to fail completely. I-N. The air in my own room began to feel heavy and stagnant. T-H-E. The guest's head tilted at an angle that would snap a neck. W-A-L-L-S. The host started laughing, a sound that wasn't human at all. I looked at my basement walls, wondering what was hidden behind the drywall. The tape skipped forward to a new scene, a hallway I didn't recognize. The cameraman was running, the heavy breathing loud and ragged in the microphone. Every time he blinked, the figure moved 20 feet closer to the lens. D-O-N-O-T-L-O-O-K-B-E-H-I-N-D-Y-O-U. The guest blinked faster than light. I felt a cold breath on the back of my neck, smelling like rot. The guest on the screen stopped blinking and simply opened his eyes wide. His pupils were not round, they were the shape of the tally marks. The host leaned forward, his skin peeling away to reveal more blinking eyes. "He is here now," the host said, his voice coming from my speakers. The room around me began to dissolve into the grainy texture of VHS. I tried to reach for the power button, but my hands were static. The guest reached out of the screen, a hand made of magnetic tape. It wrapped around my throat, and I could feel the encoded data burning. The Morse code started again, but this time it was inside my head. W-E-L-C-O-M-E-H-O-M-E. The guest whispered as the world turned completely black. The tape began to rewind on its own, the sound a shrill scream. I woke up on the floor, the TV showing nothing but blue light. I went to eject the tape, but the VCR was completely empty now. I looked in the mirror and noticed my eyes were starting to itch. Then I saw it. A single blink that lasted far too long for humans. I was no longer in control of my own eyelids. They had rhythm. SOS. I was blinking a cry for help to anyone watching me. But the only person watching was the man sitting in my basement chair. He was holding the tape, his long fingers caressing the plastic shell softly. The screen flickered one last time, showing the host waving goodbye to me. The credits rolled, but every name was the same, a single word, guest. I realized then that the tape wasn't recorded in 1994 at all. It was a broadcast from the end of everything, a signal of decay. The guest looked up at the sky and blinked a message to the stars. Everything around me began to turn into that same gray, dead reality today. I tried to scream, but my mouth was just another blinking eye now. The Morse code was constant now, a symphony of clicking and snapping sounds. I saw the cameraman again. He was standing in my own kitchen now. He pointed his lens at me, and I saw my own terrified face. "You are the special guest now," the host's voice echoed from nowhere. I sat in the chair, the dark fabric cold and wet against me. The host looked at the camera and told the audience to watch carefully. "Now," he said, "tell them the secret of the long, dark blink." I closed my eyes, but I could still see the studio lights glowing. I blinked once for yes, twice for no, and thrice for forever. The audience began to blink back at me from through the glass screen. We were all part of the same circuit now, a digital hive. The tape began to melt in the machine, the plastic bubbling up. Smoke filled my room, smelling of old electronics and burnt hair. The Morse code slowed down, becoming a deep, rhythmic thudding sound. END. The final message was sent, and the studio lights died. But in the darkness, I could still see those pale eyes. They were closer now, just inches away from my own face. I realized the blink wasn't a code, it was a countdown. 0. The world didn't end with a bang, but a flicker. I am now the one inside the tape, waiting for you. I see you sitting there, watching this video on your screen. Can you feel your eyes starting to twitch? Just a little? That is the signal taking hold, the data entering your brain. Don't fight the rhythm, just let the code flow through you. We are the pulse of the community, the host said again. The community of the lost, the digital, and the forgotten ones. I tried to look away, but my neck was frozen stiff. The blinks were faster now, translating to a single word, help. But there is no help in the world of the magnetic. The signal is too strong. The connection is too deep today. I felt my skin turning into plastic, my blood into ink. I am becoming the tape, a memory, caught in a loop. The host laughed one last time, a sound of pure joy. Welcome to the show, he said, and the screen went white. I can still hear the blinking, even in the total silence. It is a heartbeat made of dots and dashes, calling home. If you find this tape, do not put it in your machine. Throw it away, burn it, bury it in the deep earth, because the guest is patient, and he will wait for you. He only needs one blink to enter your world and stay. Keep your eyes open, he whispered from the corner of the room. The tape ends here. He is watching you from the glass now.